if you look at the border region, Ukrainian forces attacking at the Grivoron region, Russians attacking at Brusky as well as Tarahuta. So we will continue to monitor and see if this end up becoming some kind of a offensive for the Russians with a push into the Sumy region. My understanding that the Ukrainians have actually developed some kind of a similar thing to a Surovikin line, but we're not sure. I haven't monitored exactly where this defense line is, mainly because I don't think the Russians are going to penetrate through into the front, into the Ukraine and reopen the northern front just yet. I think the time is not right yet. We are still too early. So since we are here, might as well just talk about just add some conclusions into this. But before I continue, do press the like button, subscribe if you're not subscribed. I know 60 minutes in, I think this is a bit difficult for I think most people might have not continued to watch. But for those that are watching and you're not subscribed, do subscribe, because if you are watched to this point, I think you're really okay with the reporting. So do press the subscribe button, support the channel. And so so I want to talk about why I say that the Russians are unlikely to reopen the northern front just yet, because as per many of the pro-Russian side, or maybe they heard me saying this, and or maybe they might have come up with this conclusion themselves, is that the Russians' strategic objective in the special military operation is not to capture ground, at least not in the beginning. I mean, not in the midterms. In the beginning, yes, that's why they captured the Luhansk, Donetsk region, in the Kherson and Zaporizhia region. This is true, but the real objective is the militarization, and there is no need to attack the north, because by focusing on this eastern front, particularly over in the Donetsk, Luhansk region, they are stretching Ukrainian front line across the entire country, and this distance is really huge. We are talking about over 1,000 kilometers of logistic, and probably more, because logistic don't go in a straight line. So this stretches the Ukrainians' ability to conduct war, because a lot of resources will have to be spent on logistic. Not just that, having more territory means more people to feed, more towns and villages to monitor, to have checkpoints, have guards, more administration costs, more pensions that have to be paid. So Russia is playing a very deep game. When it comes to this special military operation, they want to stretch the resources of the Ukrainians to minimize the need for fighting and minimize the number of deaths on the Russian side, whilst at the same time grinding out the Ukrainians' ability to conduct war. So this is the reason why starting a northern front may not be meaningful, and it may also be more expensive in terms of Russian casualty counts. There's no need for that at this moment, and it's better to just hold a defensive position. And like what happened in the Belgorod offensive, the Ukrainians basically hit a wall, and the main thing is because they attacked very late. The Russian military today is totally different from the Russian military a year ago. If you look at the Russian military a year ago, the Russian forces have just mobilized not too long ago, around November, December in 2022, they just mobilized. So by February, March 2023, the Russian forces, many of them are still without sufficient refresher training. So because even you have training before going back to battle, facing a totally new military situation, the new technology, new doctrines, is not sufficient. 2-3 months is actually not enough for this kind of training. Not to mention Ukrainians are one month or 2 weeks training. That's utterly not enough. So the situation for the Russian side at those moments is just insufficient. It's also during the mobilization part, and of course for the Russian government to review if they actually have the money. So what is the effect of the sanctions? They actually know it by the end of the year in 2022. By the end of 2022, they realized that the sanction had failed, because the reality is that the Russian side prepared for the sanctions. they spent 7-8 years preparing for it. They know a sanction will come, and they know that this war is going to come. It's unavoidable, but they have to prepare for it. And even if they are prepared for it, they are not sure how it will actually play out. So they actually waited to the end of the year to realize, yeah, the sanctions have failed. Russia basically can survive the sanction regimes, and that's when they start to spend all the money that they profited in 2022. So they actually earn a lot of money because the oil price shot up because of the sanctions. And with all this extra money, they reinvested into the military, of buying new weapons, buying new ammunition, and whatnot, all this investment, as well as expanding the Russian military by almost another 50%. So, and this investment takes time to play out. And it took the entire year of 2023 to play out. And so by the time where the Ukrainian counteroffensive draws more or less to the end, the Russian forces, by that point, around half a year to 8 months in, they have started to receive a lot of new equipment, a lot of ammunition, and on top of that, the Russians probably also made some trade deals with North Korea. Since the West have not wanted to play ball, there is no more reasons for the Russian side to apply sanctions on North Korea. So they started to trade with North Korea, solve their space program problems, ballistic missile problems, and in exchange, they are trading probably grains for ammo. And this is also why we started to see the return of the Grad rockets on the Russian side. We see more weaponries. The military production have ramped up over the past 1 year, and now they are at multiple times of what both Europe and US combined. The production value is actually a lot higher. The speed of production and the volume of production on the Russian side is now 2 to 3 times, at minimum 2 to 3 times more than the European and the Americans combined. So when the Ukrainians do the Belgorod offensive right now, it just fails. They should have done the offensive at Belgorod with the aim of capturing Belgorod with the full counter-offensive force of 12 brigades directly at Belgorod. That would be the perfect time. Capturing a major city, especially it's a capital city of an oblast, would send shockwave across the entire of Russia, and that would also allow the Ukrainians to have some kind of a bargaining chip when they come to peace negotiation. For example, they can trade Belgorod for some grounds, some land, something. Or if not, then the Ukrainians can continue to wage war, focus all their offensive actions within the Russian territory. There is no need to fight within the Ukrainian side. They just need to hold the line and focus on the Russian territory, because if you fight in Ukrainian land, you're destroying Ukrainian property. You're destroying Ukrainian land. You fight in Russian territory, you destroy Russian land. So that makes more sense. However, of course, Ukraine is it does not really have full control of their own destiny. So it is what it is. And another part is there's a lot of talk about the possibility of NATO troops, particularly French troops, Baltic troops, maybe Polish troops entering into Ukraine. Tentatively, I don't think that will happen. They are just exploring and poking and probing to see how Russia will react. But I don't think that will happen, because if that will happen, as I mentioned before, they will become priority targets. And also risk starting a major war, because Russia, in the wrong set of mind, maybe that they ate something wrong, and then he have a bad stomach ache, and then he's in a bad mood and he declares war on France. We do not know. Then that will be disastrous, and because in a state of war doesn't mean that they have to start attacking each other. They will just be starting to attack each other's commercial interests. It could be Russia started to send weaponry into Houthi territories, and this time around they have to fight. They will start to sink French ships, or using Russian weapons. Now who knows? It can be all sorts of things. So it will just generate and degrade into a wider regional war, or eventually become a world war. So I doubt. I have serious doubt that they want to test Putin and test Russia again to see, whether who is the chicken, or to try to to call out Putin's potential bluff. But I don't think Putin is bluffing, because if Russia don't fight the war now, they will fight the war later. So now they have the advantage. They should take advantage. Just like I mentioned about the Belgorod offensive, the Ukrainians did not take the advantage when they have the means and to hit where is softer. They decided to hit where is the hardest, and they just get destroyed. So it is what it is. So thank you for watching. Do press the like button, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next update.